You ever notice how some days start off feeling like you're living in the first 5 minutes of a Hallmark movie, and by sunset you realize you're smack in the middle of a psychological thriller and you're the one getting hunted? Yeah, that was the Saturday I'm about to tell you about. I know it sounds wild, but stick with me by the end. You'll probably have an opinion. Trust me, I want to hear it. So there I am, holed up in my home office glass walls, just enough modern steel to look intimidating. A view over the kind of suburb where every yard is a silent contest and every car in the driveway has a story. My son Leo was outside giving the family Rolls-Royce Phantom a shine that would have made my grandfather proud. That car, man, it's not just a car. It's a family monument, 3 generations of sweat and sleepless nights hammered into British steel and leather. Leo gets that. He's 17, but he's always had this old soul vibe, thoughtful and steady. Those dreads pulled back, face all angles and intensity, half kid, half man, and 100% heart. He's got this artist's brain, sees color and shadow in places. I see decimal points and contracts, but we connect. Sometimes it's over dinner. Me trying to talk private equity. Him explaining why some comic book artist is actually a genius. He was out there wiping that chrome like he was polishing a piece of history. And then here comes the villain. You know the type. Every neighborhood's got one. Ours wears pastel caftans and always looks like she's walking to a gala, even if she's just going to pick up Amazon packages. I've only exchanged a handful of good mornings with her since we moved in 6 months back, but I've seen the way she glares at our house, especially the Phantom. Maybe I shouldn't read into it, but the way her eyes track everything like she's the queen and the rest of us are just peasants with questionable taste, it gives me the creeps. That day, though, she wasn't just watching. She had a purpose. I see her totter across the street, determined pastel fabric, billowing like she's about to declare war on the wind. I get this chill, but I figure Leo's fine. He's not a kid. And besides, what's the worst she can do, right? I turn my attention back to the business at hand. A major deal with a Japanese tech firm contracts open on my laptop. Adrenaline building. But part of me is still watching from the corner of my eye, and I see her stop in front of Leo, fake smile plastered on. "Good afternoon, young man," she says in this syrupy tone that makes my teeth hurt. Leo's polite, he was raised right, but he's not in the mood for games. She starts talking about how her Mercedes is in the shop and she's got this little soiree later, and it just wouldn't do to have her guests arrive without seeing her in proper style. It's all nonsense. But then she drops it. "So I'll be needing the keys to this for the evening, just a few hours. I need to make an impression." No question, just an assumption that we'd hand over a car that's worth more than her house, all because she feels entitled. Leo says no, plain and calm. "Sorry, ma'am. This is my father's car." You'd think he'd slapped her. She goes full meltdown, voice rising, face twisting, finger jabbing at his chest. She throws out the "you people" line, that old dog whistle, tries to flip it, tells him he's a guest here, threatens to call the cops for harassment if he doesn't hand over the keys. The mask comes off and all that old nasty entitlement comes spilling out. Leo, bless him, stands his ground, asks her to leave our property. She storms back across the street, pulling out her phone like she's dialing in an airstrike, already working her way through a performance for anyone who'll listen. Inside, Leo's rattled. He paces, considers texting me a dozen times, but doesn't want to interrupt my meeting. Meanwhile, across the street, Queen Pastel's got her phone glued to her ear, her hands flying, doing her best Oscar-winning "I've been attacked" routine. Then come the reinforcements. One by one, cars start arriving. Well-dressed friends, mostly retirees in their brunch best, line up on the curb, faces grim, arms folded. They're staring at our house, not hers. Soon it's a full-blown tribunal of suburban outrage, staring at Leo like he's public enemy number one. Leo's up in his room feeling the heat. Should he go out? Call the cops? Call me. He starts filming just in case, camera pointed through the blinds, catching their whispers, the angry pointing, the mob mentality brewing on our lawn. Not one person knocks on our door. Not one asks our side. They just stand there stewing. Then the taunts start. Come out here and face us. Coward. Disrespectful thug. You don't belong here. They ramp each other up until one woman, the Silk Blouse Brigade, grabs a stone and hurls it through our living room window. Glass shatters everywhere. The mob gasps, but it's not fear, it's excitement. They're feeding off each other. Next thing you know, someone's hurling a garden gnome. They're taking turns vandalizing the house. Leo's panicked, calls me, goes straight to voicemail. He calls 911. I finish my meeting and see Leo's message, hear the fear in his voice. I tear out of my office, ignore every speed limit on the way home. I pull up to a scene out of a nightmare police car's crowd on my lawn, my house looking like it's been through a war. I don't see Leo until a cop moves aside, and there he is, pale and shaken, standing by the door. Queen Pastel tries to flip the story. Says we lost it, that Leo attacked her, that I went berserk when I arrived. The mob backs her up. The cops are skeptical of me, big, angry black man, panicked neighbors, broken windows. I play Leo's voicemail for the cops, but it doesn't matter. He said she said they shrug and suggest I should de-escalate things with the neighbors. They hand me a slip for property damage, tell me to call my insurance. Victim blaming, plain and simple. Leo's a wreck. He barely talks. His art, all those vibrant sketches, he destroys them in a fit of despair. The mob's lies echo through the neighborhood. People we barely know shun us, call us trouble. The worst part is Leo starts to believe their story. Maybe he's the monster. Maybe he did something wrong. I get us a lawyer, Julian. This guy's a shark, a real hunter, and he wants to go to war. We file suit against everyone who stepped foot on our property. The neighborhood circles the wagons, paint us as dangerous outsiders. But then cracks appear. One woman, Sheila, comes clean in deposition. Admits they lied to police, that I wasn't even home when the vandalism happened. But it's not enough, we still can't prove the original confrontation. Then I remember an old DVR camera system I'd half installed when we moved in. I dig it out, nearly break it, but by some miracle, a data recovery guy manages to pull the video and get some audio too. It's staticky, fragmented, but you can clearly hear the neighbor demanding the keys, Leo refusing her shrieking threats about you people and promising to ruin him. Julian plays the video in court during the neighbor's ridiculous attempt to get a restraining order against Leo. The courtroom goes dead quiet. The judge rips into her, throws out her case, refers her and her friends for criminal charges, and basically says, prepare to lose everything. And lose they do. The criminal case sticks for the worst of them. Our lawsuit settles for more money than I'd ever hoped, and Queen Pastel sells her rose bushes and her dignity to cover the damages. The video leaks to the news. Suddenly people want to be our friends again. But it's not the same. The house is fixed, the lawn's green, but trust, that's gone. Leo's getting help, slowly starting to draw again, but the scars are deep. We got justice, but not peace. Not really. Months later, I find Leo in the garage looking at the Phantom, polishing it, not out of pride, but out of defiance. He looks at his reflection and says, maybe we should sell it. Or move. I stand beside him and say, if you want to, we will. He shakes his head. No, we're not going anywhere. We're keeping the car. And that's what we did. We stayed. We held our ground, even if it never felt the same again. Because sometimes justice is messy, and sometimes victory just means refusing to disappear. But now I gotta ask, after all that, what do you think? Was it justice or just survival? Let me know down below, because honestly, the story's not over until you weigh in.